Welcome back everyone to a video, and today we are going over my week 3 picks. Now week 2 was not great. We have a lot of red right there. My goal is to be a little above like that 75 to 80% by the end of the year. And last week's not helping reach that average because pretty bad. There's a lot of upsets I really just didn't pick. Week 1 I picked too many upsets. So week 2 I tried to pick next to no upsets. Didn't work either time. Got to split the difference. A little below 500. Not too worried about just now week 3. I do feel pretty good about some of the picks we have today. But last week I did not pick that Saints upset. I didn't pick, the Bills winning Thursday night, which I probably should have. That was probably on me. I think that was probably a good pick there to pick the Bills. But I didn't expect the Saints to do what they did or the Raiders to do what they did. And I thought the Packers would struggle more without Jordan Love, and they didn't. So, missed a few there. Is what it is. On to this week, though, we have some really, really good matchups, starting with the Thursday night game being the Patriots and the Jets. Now, this one I could really see going either way because I think this could be a relatively low-scoring game. But at a certain point, I feel like the Jets have shown enough flashes to where it looks like they're going to have a big statement game at some point, whether it's this week or next week. I think sometime soon we're going to get a big Jets game where that offense just really goes off. So, is it this week? I don't know. The Patriots defense is very respectable. I had the Jets in this one, though. I think the Jets win it. I think it will be close. I think the Patriots can slow them down, but I don't know if the Patriots offense can chip away the Jets defense. That's kind of the issue for me there. So I'm leaning to the Jets, picking them there. Next are the Panthers and the Raiders. Now, Bryce Young has been benched. Andy Dalton is not the starter. So not really sure what to go off of, really, because I think like the Panthers coaches, I don't think anyone knows whether is it specifically only Bryce Young that's the problem, or is it also a bit of the O-line? Is it the receivers? Is it the system? I think no one's really for certain. I think Bryce Young is definitely a problem. I don't know if he's the problem. That's kind of where I think the Panthers coaches are coming from with benching him. They just want to see what is going on. I'm honestly a little afraid as a Panthers fan if Dalton goes in there and flops, because then it's like the team's just really that bad. It's not even just Bryce Young. I think the simpler fix is quarterback for it to only be a Bryce Young problem. But is that the case? I don't know. And because of that, I don't know what to expect from the Panthers offense at all. The Raiders, though, kind of a big upset win there against Baltimore. I got to go with the Raiders here. We know more about this team. They've won. Carolina has not. And it's pretty much that simple for me. So I'm picking the Raiders. Detroit and the Cardinals. So this is a really tough one. I'm actually going to pick the Cardinals here. The Lions looked a little flat last week. Not really bad, but definitely not their best. The Cardinals, on the other hand, looked really, really good. That offense was firing on all cylinders. Marvin Harrison Jr., unreal first quarter. Great game overall, too. So I'm going to pick the Cardinals here. I think they can win another one. Now, I could see this one going either way, though. So if I'm wrong about this one, I wouldn't be too shocked, to be honest. Like, this one is almost 50-50 for me. The Cardinals' defense, though, is always going to be the liability for the rest of the season. So if the Lions can really exploit that and, make them pay, get some stops on the Cardinals' offense down the stretch, it could be a Lions win. On the other hand, though, if they don't take advantage of the Cardinals' poor defense, the Cardinals offense is going to be tough to stop. Kyler Murray is showing everybody that he is a good football player. And I said that all offseason. I mentioned him in so many videos, quarterback-wise, that he is a good player who does not get the respect he deserves. I'm glad he's showing it now. I'm picking the Cardinals there against Detroit in Arizona. Next is the Giants and the Browns. I'm picking the Browns. I picked against the Browns last week with the Jaguars. Got that one wrong, but this one just seems like a no-brainer. I would be beyond shocked if the Giants pulled this off, to be honest, because that Browns defense is incredible, first off, and the Giants just won a game, or just lost a game where they scored 3 touchdowns and didn't allow a single one. They still lost. So, I don't know what else you're supposed to do at that point to get a win. I don't see Daniel Jones picking it up this year at all. It's cool to see Malik Neighbors doing so because I think he really is the future of that offense, but he has to get a better quarterback there. I had the Browns in that one. Next is the Bears and the Colts. This game could also go either way for me. This is probably one of the closest games. I was going to say a top 3, toughest game to pick for this week. It's probably up there for me. I'm going to go with the Bears. And the reason I'm going to go with the Bears is because the Colts seem to be a bit inconsistent. I'm not really sure what to really think of them right now. Great week 1, the loss. Pretty bad week 2 in the loss. So now they're back at home. But that Bears defense is really, really good. I mean, I think the Bears defense can really wreck the Colts offensive game plan, and from there, it's just a matter of how many, points the Bears offense can get, which is a question because it hasn't been that great this year so far. So for me, it's probably gonna be a low scoring game. I would assume both teams don't get more than 20 points. Not combined, just like in general, I don't think either team will get more than 20 points. So I think it'll be around there. I think the Bears win it. I think they just slow down the Colts enough to just get stop after stop, chip away, and then eventually win that game. I have the Bears there, but again, that is what I could see going either way. Speaking of going either way, is the Texans and the Vikings. The Vikings are a pretty hot team right now. You know, they win week 1 against the Giants. You know, oh, it's just the Giants. Last week, you know, they really took it to the 49ers. It was a great win for them. Darnold has looked very good. The defense for the Vikings has been very, very good. So, I don't know. I think it's a tough game to pick. So on the other hand, the Texans offense, the Texans offense looked great. I think the Texans offense is really, really good. It's one of those teams, or one of those offenses specifically, that's able to really just light up on any given night. It's always possible for them to have a huge night. You never know what's going to happen. But with the way Brian Flores' scheme is looking right now for Minnesota, I'm not going to bet against that. And I love Stroud. I've talked about Stroud all offseason, and the Texans as a whole being like one of my favorites for the AFC. But I think you got to kind of ride the hot hand, and right now I think the hot hand is the Vikings defense. They are causing problems for both teams. I was going to say every team. They've only played twice, but both teams they faced. You even had Brock Purdy going up to Brian Flores after the game saying that your scheme is, is crazy. So it's going to cause issues, and I think that's the key to stopping the Texans, is slow it down that super high-powered offense. So because of that, I had the Vikings winning that one. Next is the Saints and the Eagles. I'm picking the Saints. It feels weird doing that because I wasn't expecting them to be good this year, but they are great. And I think week 1, I didn't give them a ton of credit because they beat Carolina, which, to be fair, Carolina is terrible, so it didn't seem like that impressive of a win, despite the high-scoring game. But last week, Cowboys are a good team. No matter how you shake it, whether you think they're like a Super Bowl contender or just like a playoff team, they are in the top half of teams in the NFL, and the Saints blew right by them. So I am picking the Saints in this game. The Eagles didn't look super hot anyway. Monday Night Football really blew it in the end there too. So I'm picking the Saints. We'll see what happens. Hopefully I don't jinx them at this point, but they look really, really good. I'm picking the Saints there over the Eagles. Next is the Chargers and the Steelers. I'm going to pick the Steelers here. I like what they've shown so far. I really do. I think that they've really prioritized making Fields play where he's comfortable. Like against Atlanta, they just had Fields target basically from the numbers to the sideline. They didn't throw in the middle of the field where Jesse Bates was. They just have done a great job at having Fields not turn the ball over. And that's been one of his biggest issues his entirety of being in the NFL, is turning the ball over. So if you can prioritize that, it just, you get more possessions that way. You don't allow the other team to get as many points. It sounds so simple, but it really has been an issue for Justin Fields for a long time now. So for that to be one of the things that is a huge benefit for the Pittsburgh right now, I think that's a pretty big deal that might not be talked about a whole lot, is that Justin Fields is not putting the ball in harm's way. That goes a long way, especially if a defense as good as Pittsburgh is able to get stops on the other team, such as the Chargers. I don't see the Chargers having a super high-powered offense. I think the Steelers' defense can have a good day too. So I'm picking the Steelers over the Chargers there. Next is the Broncos and the Buccaneers. I'm picking the Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield looks phenomenal. The Bucs' offense looks quite good. Bo Nix and the Broncos just haven't got it going yet, and I don't think that's going to happen against the Buccaneers. I'm not saying they can't this season, but this game, I would really not bet on it. So I'm going to go with the Buccaneers there in Tampa Bay. Next is the Packers and the Titans. So I am going to pick the Packers in this game. I do think that it's, I don't want to say like a toss-up, but it is kind of hard to pin this one down because you have Malik Willis now playing for the Packers against his former team. He looked fine last week, but I don't think a whole lot was asked of him. If the Titans can shut down the run for the Packers with Josh Jacobs, that's kind of their key to victory. But at this point, I'm not picking Will Levis to close the game out. He's literally thrown the game away twice in a row now. I'm not picking that. So I'm going with the Packers there, beating the Titans in Tennessee. Next are the Dolphins and the Seahawks. I got to go Seahawks here. Dolphins, Skylar Thompson at quarterback. I don't trust it. That's really what the issue is for me. I think that's what it comes down to. I'm expecting a lot of empty possessions for the Dolphins offense. Seahawks are a very solid team. They're respectable. They're in Seattle. I think they can definitely get to Skylar Thompson, make him panic, make him do dumb things. That's how you slow the offense down. That's why I have the Seahawks there in that one. Next is the Ravens and the Cowboys. Now, this is one that I think is going to be very, very difficult to pick. I'm going to go with the Cowboys here, which is weird because I don't feel great about doing that. Like, I can't see the Ravens starting 0-3, but I think it is very much on the table right now. The Cowboys didn't play well last week, and week one, I think it was just kind of expected for them to perform the way they did, and they went out there, they got their job done, but week three now, I just this is a weird matchup for both teams, I think, because I think either team's offense can be shut down by the other's defense. But again, both are good offenses, so it's like one has to give. Somebody's defense has to give out, and whichever one gives out first, basically, is probably going to lose. So it's just a matter of chipping away at those defenses. Both are great defenses, and I think Dak and CeeDee Lamb can do that. I trust that more than the Ravens offense. Yes, the Cowboys just lost to the Saints, got upset, but the Saints might just be a really good team. Ravens lost to the Raiders. I'm not sold on the Raiders as a team. I think that's a pretty bad loss. They just did not look great, and now they have to go on the road and play in Dallas. Not too sure about that. I'm going with Dallas, but I think very close. Like, it could literally be within like 3 to like 1 point even. So yeah, I got the Cowboys in that one though. Also, for some reason, I was thinking the Cowboys had an easy opponent week one. They had the Browns. It was actually a very big win for them. So I'm sorry. Very good win against a very good defense. And then they lost to the Saints, who are a very hot team. So it's kind of hard to gauge them. I'm not sure why I thought they played like the Giants or Washington or something week one. Next is the 49ers and the Rams. I got to go 49ers here. The Rams were just so depleted, especially on offense. It's just, I can't get behind that. You have Puka Nacua on IR, Cooper Kupp going down now with an ankle injury for him, possibly going on IR, or maybe he already has at this point. It just sucks. It sucks for both teams, though, because McCaffrey's not playing for San Francisco, and neither is Debo. So both teams are definitely worn down, but I think the 49ers are still the stronger team. So I'm picking them to win there in LA. Next is Sunday Night Football, Chiefs and Falcons. This is a very interesting game for me because the Falcons looked bad at times Monday night and then quite good at times, but you can't afford to look good and then bad half the game against the Chiefs. You got to look strong the entirety of the game. This is not a team you can give extra possessions to and expect to come out on top. You got to look strong the entire game, or you got to force the Chiefs to make a lot of miscues, which, to be fair, the Falcons defense is good enough to do that. So we'll see how that goes. I'm honestly very unsure about this game. I'm going to lean Chiefs. I would not put money on this game, though. I really wouldn't. I think the Falcons could definitely upset the Chiefs here. It just depends on how they look. Kirk Cousins has looked very uncomfortable sometimes, and he's gotten to a great rhythm other times, has looked very good. So I don't really know what to expect there. I'm picking the Chiefs. They're the better team, but that could definitely be an upset there. Next, Monday Night Football, Jaguars and Bills. I'm picking the Bills. Jaguars, I've picked before this year. I thought they would be pretty good. I think they still can be pretty good. I don't love this matchup for them, though. They might start 0-3, which really sucks in a very competitive division that they're in right now. But I got to go Bills. They've looked pretty strong. I expected them to, and I think that's just the better team right now. So Bills are the Jaguars, and then Washington, Cincinnati. I'm going Cincinnati. I think they're just the better team. I was very interested to see how they played week two because of their week one game against New England. They looked terrible. Last week, though, it looked like the same old competitive Bengals against the Chiefs. Washington, I think, is going to have a really hard time. The way the Bengals defense played last week, they can really make Jaden Daniels' life very uncomfortable. So I'm picking the Bengals there. Hopefully, we can actually improve this record. I'll have all my wins up on the screen right now for this week, so it's easier for you guys to read. But yeah, so I don't know. My goal is 75 to 80% by the end of the season. Right now, we're a little below 500, so we got to make up for the hole we've now dug ourselves in for the first 2 weeks, but I'm not too worried about it. Let me know down below how you think your favorite team is going to be doing this week and, all that kind of stuff. Are they good? Are they bad? Super Bowl contender? Mock drafts already? I don't know. Let me know down below. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. It takes just a second. It is free. Leave a like. I would really appreciate that, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.